What did you just send me?
Give it a quick ping.
Bing bong boom. Where's my alert? We go through this.
I'm not
every
seeing
time.
an alert.
It's live. There it is.
Yeah, it is live. It takes a second.
I got the thing
Beautiful,
on my
beautiful.
phone.
In Discord?
No, on my phone. On my phone. So we're live.
Yeah, for some reason there's no ping on Discord. Very strange.
That's it. Time to beat Discord.
We'll manualize it. I'm gonna ping it in 13th announcements.
Yeah. Anywho, we are live though.
Alrighty, with that being said, good evening everyone and welcome to the Briefing Room, 13th Mute podcast hosted by your lovely command staff. I'm Captain Takeda Hideyoshi, the company commander and Apollo platoon leader.
I am Captain Dubs, the commanding officer of Tuma.
I am Second Lieutenant Soccer, XO of Tumal.
I am HM2 Keeper, Head Corpsman.
And I am HM3 Napavanik, and I'm Trauma Actual.
Alrighty. Tonight we're missing out on a Guttering Sergeant Cyber. He's doing Navy boy things as usual, so he'll be with us later, hopefully, depending on everything, working right at work and whatnot. Currently, a slot is open, so more on that later possibly. But yeah, it has been a hot ass minute, folks, since the last podcast, and there's just been a lot of shit going on, but we are all squared away now for the most part. With that being said, Nap, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be here.
That's good. Have you watched these? I mean, I'll be honest, have you watched any of these in the past, or do you know what we do on the podcast at all? Or
I have watched bits and pieces. I tend not to watch or listen to things in like their entirety, but I've seen bits for sure.
No, that's completely fair. Yeah, I mean, all we do, we'll just get together here now and we'll talk on the podcast and just like speak our mind. Obviously, it's very much Arma oriented because of, the whole thing of it, but we can get into some very in-depth things here as well. Be it like happy, sad, or whatever it is, just bring into attention the stuff. But yeah, it'll be good. It's been a while, so as I said earlier, though, got a lot to cover. Did some join ups, some trainings, some reorganization, implementing new ideas and concepts into the unit, just trying to keep everything fresh and fair. But yeah, with that being said, Dubs, what do you have to open the floor with?
Honestly, nothing. It's been 3 weeks. I think we covered all of the questions that were asked on the previous survey. So, I mean, we could kind of backtrack on some of them and get Nap's view or input on some of those if we're so inclined.
I don't see an issue with it, but before we do that, I think we should just open it probably generally.
Yeah.
So, Soccer, Keeper, Nap, do y'all have any questions or interest topics or points that you guys want to bring up and just talk about?
I mean, right now, I don't have much. I mean, two of my corpsmen just came off LOA, so we're gonna hope to see them this weekend.
Yeah.
But that's really all I got.
Hide an arrow off of LOA today.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't seem too happy about it for some reason.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, well, retirement. Who knows? Hopefully things get better and improve. I will say, I think we'll just dive right into the interim aspect of everything. For those who are not aware, Sergeant Lambert is no longer an interim AEA. He decided to step away from the unit due to personal circumstances. um, that thereof in which it may be. But yeah, so there's that development. So AA slots open. Kind of scooting on over into Keeper here as the interim chief for the unit for the Corpsman side. Let's just talk about some of the nit and gritty that's been going on lately with, like, you know, growth as a leader, what you've seen, and obviously, you know, not naming like individuals involved, but from the last, I'd say, month of your coming up as a chief, what is the experience been like for you so far, and what have you learned or taken away?
It has been incredibly eye-opening for me, I think, because there's been some stuff going on, and I have trouble confronting people, is what Nap and I have learned through working together and just talking together and chatting. But it's something that I'm working on. Leadership, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I understand more than I thought I did. I think the imposter syndrome was just really, really bad for the first couple weeks here, but it's been almost exactly a month now since I took over in this interim chief spot, and I'm really enjoying myself, and I have a lot of respect for the unit and a lot of respect for command staff, because I do this as a stay-at-home mom, but all of you have like school and actual jobs, and the fact that you are still able to do all of this baffles me and impresses me at the same time. So props for that.
Sometimes school and a job at the same time.
Yeah, if you're Dubs. What a goober.
What a nerd.
Being a stay-at-home mom is definitely, you know, in
It's
a
got
lot of
its
ways
own run-ins.
comparable.
It's
100%.
Yeah.
well, because I'm on duty 24/7. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I went a full 24 hours without like without doing something mom related. It's probably been since I went on like my last trip to Minnesota for my sister's graduation in May. But
I mean,
yeah.
your boss probably isn't even on speaking terms with you yet.
Yeah,
So,
no.
I mean, that's talk about
He can
navigating
yell-
difficulties
he
in the
can
workplace.
Yell no. He can yell no and repeats mommy, mommy, mama, and I'm like, yes, my dear.
What do you want?
Yes, Oz.
What do you
But
want,
yeah.
boy?
But it's pretty great though. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, and no, that's good. And I know we definitely appreciate that that understanding sentiment, because it's just, I think it's something that's outside looking in, that's like, depending on the unit and its like people, you know, a lot of people don't understand or care to know, and that gets into like a whole slew of like personal like backgrounds, details, and how people like perceive a lot of stuff in Milsim in general. But like command staff cares a lot for its members, and it's, you know, especially the unit itself. And I mean, to the point where like a lot of people surprisingly think that we joke about like staying up for like, you know, until like 3 or 4 a.m. talking about issues or way to solve problems. And like, you know, Keeper, you had that kind of same sentiment, and you realize like, oh, they weren't kidding.
Oh shit. And then it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, guys, I have a 1-year-old. Guys, I need to go to bed. And yeah, but yeah.
It's even funnier when I try to speed through it, and it's like somehow we still end at 1 or 2 a.m., which is earlier, but like,
But it's
oh my
still,
goodness.
like, yeah. Mhm.
The 2 to 3 a.m. command meetings are not a rumor.
No.
You're real.
I mean, I can definitely speak on command staff caring for everybody in command staff, and not just that, but definitely in the entire unit. I mean, before I was even an interim part of command staff, I mean, I met Dubs in person. Like, this is such a caring community and unit, and just a great environment to be in. And I really love that about this. Other people may have different sentiments, but that's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we say it all the time, and that's just the perception is key type deal, because, like,
Yeah.
how you perceive the unit, I mean, there's just, there's so many, I don't want to spend too long on it, but there's just so many, like, undertones on it, right? So, like, if you come to the unit, and you're just a dude who, like, is just here to shoot the shit, you don't care about anything. Like, you're just here to, like, be an infantry guy, kind of be surrounded by the experience but not get involved in it, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like that's their perception of stuff, right? And then you've got guys who will come into the unit and they care a little bit and they'll want to dedicate like some time and attention and be like leaders or something, right? And so they'll be like team leaders, and I'm not saying that all the team leaders feel that way, but like as a generalization, that's kind of the steps. Or maybe there's things in life that are like stopping them from moving further on down the pipeline of leadership. And then you get to the point where like I think this is where the real like difference is for people who can like make the time, who have really good time management and like genuinely care for the unit, because not only did they go through the probation, through the pipeline, and like did everything they needed to, and more than likely weren't an issue, like a character issue, is when people hit NCO, because at that point, like you're investing like your actual time, and that's probably one of the most, I don't remember like the English word for it, but it's probably one of the most like expensive things that someone could put in their life is like time, because you never get time back, and so as NCOs, there is like a really weird dynamic cultural shift that's seen there, which is really cool
100%.
top down looking at, and getting to see that dynamic and that switch up is really interesting to me, more than likely most recently with like Cunningham, Marcuzzi, Knapp, funny enough, right? Like Knapp coming in here as an NCO, like
Hi.
I guess kind of leading off into that, ending and leading off is like, depending on who you are, the perception of the unit and how much you care will dictate what you think of your command staff potentially, right? And most people think that we don't do a lot sometimes, or they don't know what we do, or that like apparently some people think that like White didn't do anything and he was just the head corpsman because he was a head corpsman, and Dubs just only listens to me ever. And I'm like, well, those are both completely nonsensical, because I don't know shit about how to do medical, and I don't know shit how to fly. And I make sure that it stays that way, so I'm not doing everything, because that's not my job, But at the end of the day, it all comes down throughout perception and just what people will think, or in what attitude that they're in, because you'll have people who are, and we've had them here, and we might still have some here just because of the size of the unit, that like you get guys who come in and they'll preach this, that, and the other, and like this guy's a shitbag, we need to make sure that the unit's going better, and then like they hit one little bump in the road, or they get in trouble for something and they're held accountable to the standard that they agreed to, and then immediately hypocrite, just like, oh, fuck this, you guys won't listen to me, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, there's the door, I suppose. And it sucks because like when you lose people who are like NCOs, staff NCOs, it really sucks, because like you've put time and effort into the unit, and to avoid that correction is just an interesting take that I'll never understand. But to each their own.
Not only that, the unit puts time and training and man hours and stuff into those people as well, and now it's for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, Cyber, where'd you come from?
Yeah,
Welcome, Gunny.
I'm getting tires put on my motorcycle, and I'm waiting. So you have me now. Sorry if you hear some music in the background. The place is playing some music, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So I guess to end that little tangent about people perception and hypocrisy, which is the word of the month, is hypocrisy.
Oh yeah.
Nap, as a semi-new NCO within the unit and what you've dealt with so far, along with assisting Keeper directly, what are your perceptions of everything between command staff, being an NCO? Like, what are the differences? Go into depth or don't, whichever.
Yeah, so as far as perceptions of command staff, I don't have many. And that is, for me, the way I tend to approach things is when I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, I don't want to sit there and make a whole bunch of assumptions. So I'm aware of the results of what you guys do, and I'm aware of a little bit of behind the scenes, like some hours and some of the meetings that you guys have, but most of what I see is result. And I mean, the missions are happening. When issues occur, they're dealt with. I remember that one mission that everything crashed, like, completely, and you guys had to re-Zeus everything in like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And as we were playing it, like, there were some issues here and there, but it really didn't feel like it was re-Zeused in like 10 minutes. And I'd say that is very much a testament to how long you guys have been doing this, how much time and effort has been put in, because like you don't get that kind of seamlessness without practice.
Yeah, that was 100% big shout out to like having an actual qualified Zeus team. I think it's one of those things where looking back, or I'm sorry, not looking back, but being in the time when we created the Zeus qualification stuff, it was definitely for like a different thing. It was so we can have people do like little fun mini ops, which no one does. But what we, I guess, accidentally created is a emergency response team. I'm telling you, that mission, when that crashed, went from having one main Zeus and one assisting role to having 3 main Zeuses work to bring that back to life in that 10 to 15 minute spans. And so, yeah, I mean, like, definitely, like, if I know if I was just acting as a single Zeus for that, and I didn't have a Zeus team, or if, like Yoshi didn't have a Zeus team and stuff, that would have been maybe like an hour pushback. But luckily, having those kind of people and stuff in the right place at the right time, like, helped us deliver, as I would say, we like to say near peer for the PLA, right? So a near like scale performance in a mission that was set up for like an hour, and we did that again in like 15 minutes. So yeah.
And there's been,
I didn't think about that example. It's a really good example.
Yeah, and there's, that's a big thing with like the infrastructure that you guys have created within the unit, working under immense amounts of stress, and then everybody being able to get back on. And, like, there were people who had to get off, of course, because that just happens sometimes, time constraints and everything like that. But, for the most part, it went and carried on pretty smoothly. And that's not the only time that I've seen where there have been issues from one thing or another that occur, and you see the results of what's already been put in place, working out and allowing things to kind of move and operate the way they should.
So I want to add on to Yoshi's question, right? To you as well. In the last 2 weeks, Command has emphasized pushing down not only results and stuff from stuff that we've been working on, but actually stuff that's in process, and making sure that the NCO or the SNCOs has the proper information to push down to NCOs. And if you've read through the Monday announcements for the last 2 weeks, you can also see that same sentiment in there. My question involving those is, how do you as an NCO do you like seeing the in-process stuff, like knowing what Command and SNCOs are working on, or do you prefer just the knowing the results side?
I think it's nice being able to see it because, to touch kind of adjacently to what Yoshi was talking about earlier with you get to kind of choose your amount of involvement within the unit. That's a thing where like maybe if you're looking to go to staff NCO or to be in command, or you're just looking to strengthen your leadership capabilities, it can be really great to be able to look at the in process and see what's going on and see how you can support those who are underneath you, but also those who are above you, because just because command staff and the SNCOs outrank you and are in a higher leadership structure and you don't always know what's going on doesn't mean that you can't assist with what they're doing, even in an indirect sense. And I know since I've stepped up to the plate for NTO and taking over as trauma actual within the corpsmen, I've been trying to reach out to Keeper, and she's been great. And I just keep telling her, I'm like, hey, you're doing so much. If there's anything I can take off your plate, please let me know. Like, I'm here. I don't know exactly what I could do, but like, I'm learning. I'm here. Just like throw it on down. That's what I'm here for. So it's been cool to, be able to see that and try to figure out maybe where, because there are certain responsibilities of NCOs that are written out, to the letter, and then there's other ones where you kind of have to read between the lines and see where you can fit in to make improvements. And so that's kind of been where I've been trying to figure out, and so those kind of further details behind the curtain help a little bit with trying to figure out where exactly all I can help that isn't explicitly written somewhere.
I like that answer a lot because it shows, in your further explanation of your view on it, I think something at least I didn't think about when we considered making this change, is the NCOs looking at those announcements and seeing where they can help. Which, like you just, you said you're kind of using that to shift where your leadership and your efforts being put to help command, basically the unit achieve those goals. And I think that's maybe an avenue we didn't even think about when we just wanted to make sure that y'all were informed, right? But I like that you as an NCO take that as this is where the unit is heading. What can I do to help move it in that direction? So that's really cool, and I hope other NCOs kind of look at it the same way as well, because that's pretty sick. I like that.
Yeah, I am all about informed decision making. So the more information that I have to be able to utilize to make those decisions, I'm a research person. I look up everything that I possibly can and try to figure out all the information about things before I, take steps, or, sometimes you can't do that, but the more you have a basis of information, the more you can make quick decisions too. So it's nice being able to look at more resources, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with all that being done, what are I guess this is kind of the same as like Keepers. So she's learned a lot going through being an interim member of command staff. What have you learned or not learned, whether good or bad, when it comes to being an NCO personally, right? Like through direct experience.
That is a very good question. I think a huge thing for me is I'm fairly new to Arma in general. I've played before, but I think I'm just starting to crest 300 hours as of now, and most of that time has been with you guys.
That's rookie numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ooh.
I just broke 1,600 at the op this weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
I just broke 6,500.
But so, most of my experience with Arma has been with this unit, and my time before that has kind of been just like very, very casual things, a lot of messing around and stuff like that. And so it's definitely been a change and I don't know, I like seeing where I can potentially help those who I'm like quote unquote responsible for now. You know, where I can potentially make small changes to improve things for the corpsmen, where I can, you know, just little tweaks or little messages that I can send, being able to just kind of reach out to people more and having that be like a part of my, you know, a part of my responsibilities as well. I like all of those aspects, and I've been learning how to do that within the confines of Arma. I've had multiple things like in my life where I've taken on leadership roles before, but having it be in kind of more of a military structure has been very interesting. And so just kind of learning to navigate the general like chain of command, how that all works. There's been, it'd be easier to say things that I haven't learned than it is to try to list everything that I have. It's been a very interesting past few months for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that was like a very kind of deeply embedded question, but you know, that's the focal point of the podcast, and you know, just answer it the best of your ability. I thought it was a good answer. I didn't see anything, you know, wrong whatsoever. There isn't really a wrong answer, you know, on the podcast. So, no, I thought it was very good, as well as Keeper, right? Before I move on to the next topic, Keeper, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on that we missed out on, possibly, or stemmed away from?
I really don't think so. I think Nap covered a lot of it really well. I mean, I haven't been hardly an NCO for that long either. I think I was an NCO for maybe 2 or 3 months before I took over as interim chief, and that was a bit of a culture shock. So I'm just...
You handled it very well.
Thank you.
Speaking as someone who is directly under you, it's been, you know, all things considered, a pretty smooth transition.
I really fucking appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
It helps that White, in his own words, groomed me from the time that I joined the unit.
Yeah, that was a weird selection of words to say.
In his own words, that is what he said.
Yeah, we like crap.
Yeah. Okay, that does sound a lot
Kraft
better.
mac and cheese.
Grew grew you like a chia pet.
Yeah, there you go.
Leadership.
That's even weirder. I don't even know if that makes you more uncomfortable.
How did you make it more weird?
A chia pet, man. I feel like I'm in an infomercial from 2005.
But so it's been a bit of a culture shock, and I'm still adjusting. Going to command meetings as an NCO, like I've not even hit SNCO status yet. Definitely something I'm like working towards, but definitely weird. So it's been a big learning curve.
You got your, speaking of learning curve, I know you you know, we won't bring it up and stuff, but I know for a fact you recently had your first lesson kind of handed to you.
Yeah, we still have to have another meeting about that now.
Fun times.
So that's been an adventure, let me tell you. Actually, let me not tell you, because information. But yeah.
It's such
learning
a
curves.
it's such an interesting concept, though. You know, like the idea, maybe not concept. It's an interesting understanding, because everybody should understand that Milsim, you know, it is all roleplay. It is all just a game. And then I think there should be that baseline understanding, and I don't think people have that baseline. But obviously that baseline only goes so far. Like, if you're just genuinely a bad person with bad character traits, I'm not gonna like you outside of here either. You know what I mean? Because like, there are, and I know there are members in the unit who find other members to be distasteful, and it's like, you know, if this wasn't such a professional environment, I would not work with you or even speak to you. But I'm glad that the unit is professional enough to work together and cooperate and help each other out where when it's needed, that everything still kind of moves over fairly well. Now obviously it's a large organization, so there's still drama and issues and shit like that, but that's where NCOs, SNCOs, command staff come in, S2, and that kind of helps break it all down. We're fairly on top of that shit because we don't put up with it for long. Lo and behold, that kind of is the dichotomy of Milsim, where it's like you got to always kind of toe the line of the situation of where is it with, when is it too much and not enough of a video game role play, or just the person's character in general, right?
Right.
Like,
And it's such a hard line to draw. It's like drawing lines in the sand during a tsunami. Like, it's ridiculous.
yeah, and it's weird because it's always going to be one of those. It's situational, right? Because it's like, as examples, you could be, a really good member of the unit, but like, as a wild ball, like maybe you're like homophobic or you're too sexual to other members of the unit, and like you're just breaking rules and regs, like you're going out and you're breaking the rules and you're doing XYZ, and then suddenly it turns into
Stop
this
talking about politics in the chat.
yeah, in that, right? Like little things like that where it's like, hey, this guy's a really good dude like in the game, and like he listens to his chain of command, but he just kind of like breaks all these side rules that we have. It's so you kind of got to base it off of like, does the punishment fit the crime, and is the crime, is the punishment going to be like a fair punishment to the individual based on their prior experience in the unit, right? And I think some of the misconception when it comes to people and members is like, because when you hit NCO, we very much as command convey like standards and responsibilities of leadership. It's like when people are in that good spot and they make corporal or they make HM3, a large amount of people are very happy and take pride in it because we set up these balances to make you work to get there, right? But we all understand it's a video game, but for the game that we all love to play together and the community that we've built, there's still that sense of like camaraderie, right? Like, congrats, you've made it to an NCO, you're officially a recognized leader of the unit, to the fullest extent. Here's your responsibilities, here's your duties, and it's a really great fun time. And everybody loves that part of the role play. What people don't like about that role play is when punishments in situations occur that you are either enforcing or getting enforced on yourself, nobody wants to carry out that part of the role play. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I know.
that's
exactly
kind
what
of where you start to see the cracks in every situation is different and no situation's the same depending on the person and the scenario, right? And you could be a fantastic staff NCO who's been here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you just abruptly leave the unit. Well, that's it, or if you're an individual who just doesn't in this instance we'll say doesn't speak very fondly of other individuals in the unit, and then utilizes that as a point to leave the unit as well when they hear it from others, is it's one of those hypocritical points that we like to talk about. And it's a very weird paradigm that we have to kind of balance on a consistent basis of everyone loves to get promoted and to get the attaboys, but when it's time to like do your job or enforce the rules or take the punishment, nobody wants to do it. And then suddenly it's like, no, I got a life to live, fuck you guys. It's like, well, you didn't have a life to live 2 months ago, so it's
So where
weird.
is this life coming from?
Yeah, it's like you weren't living it before. Like it is not our fault that you do not know how to manage your time. I will never understand people who blame the unit for not having good time management. Like, you're an NCO or a staff NCO, you're a leader of the unit, you've been here for some amount of time, whatever it may be, and then not even just leadership, just anyone in general, like you understand that when you joined, these were the set days, Fridays and Saturdays, and that there's the immediate understanding in your BCT interview of like, hey, can you make Fridays and Saturdays after probation at least once a month? And then for you to get in trouble to pull the card of, nope, this place sucks, these people suck, I'm a hypocrite, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna bow out now because I have a life to live. And it's just such a lame excuse. And personally, I see it as a character issue of like just not like manning up and owning it, trying to find the fault in others to that degree. I've had to man up and own stuff consistently. Members of command have to do it all the time because it keeps us honest and it keeps our integrity in check.
That helps us grow as people.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and again, the reason why I'm talking about this, and because I think it's such an important topic, is because that's what the unit has dealt with for the last couple weeks now. Is either leaders lacking the knowledge and understanding of, what is to praise in public, reprimand in private, or leaders just outright quitting or leaving the unit based on certain circumstances that they in which blame the unit on XYZ, right? And if those people are watching, oh well, I don't care. It is what it is, right? But this is an important talking point because we need to be able to discuss this, learn from it, and develop from it. And as much time has already passed, it's like, if they were to come back, awesome, cool beans. And if not, it is what it is. The unit's going to keep going forward. And we're almost coming up on 3 years now in 3 months.
February, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're almost
Yeah.
going to hit 3 years, which is insane to think about.
Yeah.
Thinking
There's
of,
some life, that's a long time.
thinking of having a life, congrats to Anderson.
Oh,
Yeah, shout out to fucking Corporal Anderson. Homies, he has a second baby soon to be
Oh,
due.
yeah.
First one was a boy, this one's a girl, I do believe. So it's his first girl. The way he worded it was weird.
Yep.
Yeah. Second child, first girl, yeah. And yeah, man, so fucking big shout out and congrats to Corporal Anderson for being a daddy part 2.
And he's always been a daddy in my eyes.
All
Oh
right.
my god.
Yeah, that S3 side really kicking in, man.
Yeah, it's just the Navy side. Y'all are good. Anyway.
Yeah, big shout
Actually,
out to
I
him.
like all the. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say big shout out to him. Congratulations. Wish you all the best. Enjoy your life with 2 children now instead of 1.
Yeah. The whole last 20 minutes of him talking about people with time management issues, talking directly to me, who has 3 do-outs by the time I go to sleep tonight. Yeah.
And I guess the whole point of this second part to the tirade is beyond me just speaking about it and bringing to light issues that we as command staff regularly have to talk about and discuss. Is as command, we navigate ourselves to solve issues and problems, and then we have to find a way to discuss it and talk about it. And I feel like this is just another platform for us to open up to the community of hey, we really do care about you guys. There's just a lot of fucking crazy shit we have to deal with between individual characters and situations that come from those individual characters, right? Because everyone's going to think of Milsim differently, and everyone's going to treat it differently, and we have to address it differently almost all the time. If there was a slap all button easy fix, we would have it, but we don't, because a lot of people would be fuck those guys, just kick them out of the unit, fuck them, shit on them, whatever. And it's that's not really the way to handle anything. Because then that perception is now stained on the unit of, oh, well, these guys don't care, so I'm just going to leave, or whatever XYZ situation comes up from that. Overall, and all be all, everyone is different, and people are people, and we do our best to run a fake military organization on a video game while adhering to roleplay. And that's kind of the short and sweet of that whole thing. And the learning traits, I guess, that come with Keeper and Nap as leaders, because that's just something you guys will, as leadership, be more a part of, and you will see more now versus like their average, your average, private PFC and Lance Corporal. They don't see a lot of that stuff like y'all do, But yeah, welcome to my TED
Hell
Talk.
yeah.
Thanks for the TED Talk.
Exactly. All right. With that being done, I have another topic to go through. But again, opening it up to the floor. Questions, comments, concerns for anyone, either myself, to Soccer, to Dubs, Trum, or to.
I don't know. Got
Um,
anything?
Cyber, rough idea on when the mid-campaign refreshes.
Mid-campaign refresh. So the problem right now is that it is very hard for us to get any kind of supplies in without a very stable and like fortified means of getting those utilities in, right? And that is why, if you notice, if you look at kind of like the battle plan and what we're setting up for, especially this Saturday, we are setting up for an assault on a major airfield, right? And it also includes a major port with the the infrastructure for both amenities already established. And so it's coming up very soon. Most likely going to be after we take the airfield and port in the southeast island, because now we will have a actual not maritime, but what am I trying to say? Supply line for us to start utilizing. So soon. I know y'all got some assets that need to be replaced. So soon.
A firm.
Listen, man,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the arsenals with never-ending medical supplies. Fucking
Hey,
great.
Here,
well,
here.
you shouldn't have said that, because that's about to go away.
I know, with your little boxes, your
But
truck.
it's so cool now, though. It's so cool.
It is.
Just
It is
stash
so
boxes
fucking
all over
cool,
the map.
But like, yeah, that we go
To be
through
fair, actually,
so many staple mag
actually-
advantages.
I think that doing it this way will actually provide y'all more ammo and more medical supplies when needed. Because, yes, because think about it. When you get a resupply with your arsenal, you only resupply what you can carry. However, if you have let's say you have a bandage box, a plasma box, and it, like, let's say maybe one for breathing, all the shit that does, your chest seals, your king LTs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then like miscellaneous, so you have 4 different boxes you can call in. Those boxes will contain a lot. I don't know if y'all seen how many. I think one of those little medical boxes can carry like 300 bandages.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, so you'll actually get more. It'll encourage you to set up CCPs where you can actually store like additional medical supplies, because you can now pick up the boxes and move them to, this is where our medical supply is.
Yeah.
Same thing for like ammo and stuff like that. It lets infantry, when they get resupplied, they're like, hey, okay, does everybody have anything? We still got like 50 mags here. Are you sure? Everyone's good. All right, we'll load that into fucking Havoc 2. And if we need it again, they can drop it off. Like, now you're extending the time that you can actually use your resources, not just, okay, I can grab my 10 mags again from my arsenal. Now we can carry with us backstock, which I think is kind of will make us more combat efficient.
I really like that, actually. I had not thought about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the fact of it that because it's not a full arsenal, so if we have our medical supplies and it's only medical supplies and we're in desperate need, because most of the time when we're running out of medical supplies, like mid-op, like in the middle of everything going wrong, so if we either have something on us or something that can be, you know, easily kind of airdropped, or whatever the method is going to end up being to get that in there. But I mean, even if Havoc goes to a predetermined location and picks it up and drives it back to us, that would give way more mobility than an arsenal, and we'd probably be more likely to get it, because when you drop a whole arsenal, everyone's resupplying everything, so then you have to manage the like balancing for enemies and make sure that they have fresh stuff. Otherwise it's, you know, can get a little too easy, or it can make things difficult on that front. You know, but if you're just dropping medical supplies, you don't have to worry as much about balancing, because it's not that it's still not a factor, because it always is, but it makes it where you get to control a little bit more of the balance, because you can drop only medical supplies and say, hey, we can't get mags to you guys right now. Like, ammo's not a factor that we can get to you guys right now, but we can give you more bandages.
Yeah.
You know, and then you guys have control over that.
This also allows for, we can keep Tuma out of the danger zone a lot more too. So whereas instead of when we did this before, when we had to resupply, Tuma would have to winch something and drop it right on where we were, basically, or very close. But now what we can do is we can create a resupply LZ. You fly in material to the LZ, and it could be in the job of, let's say if we have some reinserts or something like that, they can actually drive a vehicle we have there pre-staged, you know, just a Humvee or one of our new M119 scout vehicles, and like you just be like, all right, hey, this has got to go to Blackjack squad needs more 5.56. This is going there. Okay, cool. You load it on the truck and you can drive it into where we are. Keep our birds a lot safer. I think we'll see a lot less rotary death when it comes to supply runs now.
I like it.
Or, I mean, also, if it's just like we can't get a vehicle in there, we can't winch something in there, and it's in a danger area, instead of having to winch everything now, you could put that shit in the back of a Seahorse, or even, I'm not sure if you could parachute it out of the Black Hawk, but I know for sure that you can load the boxes into the back of your Warhorse and just fly over us and drop that shit out the back. And be like, hey, it's in your area. Like, look for it.
We can't get it to you any
other way. Yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to drop it directly on us. It might be 200, 300 meters away, but it's in a safe location.
Also,
or the method of dropping it was safe, and then you can go grab it and move it to our very heavily fortifications to pass out that resupply.
Also, if you're Yogi, you can pick up walls.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody.
Bad Yogi.
Nobody's allowed to pick up the walls.
Only on PT tests.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, show off on PRP.
Exactly.
All right, and for your next test, you're going to carry. Did you just pick up that cement wall? All right, you're good.
Yep.
Fast.
What are you doing with that wall?
Oh.
You're good.
Put the wall down.
Max.
In the chat, Nap, I feel like this might be a leading question. I don't know. But, White asked, who is your favorite command member, past or present, and Keeper doesn't count?
Oh, shit.
I feel like you should probably answer wisely.
Well, I mean, one of the
He's retired.
biggest
He can't hurt you
things.
anymore.
one of the biggest things for me is, I mean, White is the command staff member that I have had the most direct contact with. You know, both, because, I mean, I really didn't become NCO or, like, really step into that role. I don't think I passed my board until after he had left, retired from the unit. So it is primarily in my capacity before becoming an NCO. And, yeah, he's definitely been the one that I've had the most contact with. So, you know, in a way, by default, it is him. You know, and not saying that by default it makes it any less good. But no, and he's been helpful anytime that I've had, like, training questions. I mean, I've never felt like there can be sometimes some intimidation with talking to command staff members. Not that you guys are or aren't intimidating in and of yourselves, but it's more about the rank that you hold within the unit. And just aside from unit stuff, it's like you guys are the busiest people in the unit. I don't want to bother you with more stuff if I don't have to, so I tend to think before I reach out and see who else I can talk to about those issues. But, you know, I didn't have that as much with White because he, you know, was directly responsible for me.
And that's on following your chain of command.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about
So
to say.
because chain of command
thanks
is
for
working
mapping that
right,
out really
you
easy
know,
for us.
yeah, but because chain of command has been, you know, utilized for, in my case, the best that I can, he's the one that I've had the most contact with. So it's hard to pick favorites with, you know, limited, you know, now outside of,
Exposure.
you know, unit stuff, that's a different story. I think you guys are all great so far, as far as people go. But as
So
far
I
as,
was about
like,
to say,
as
All
far
right,
as
well,
your
no,
role
anyone
with
else
command
response,
stuff.
you're demoted. Next.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I don't
No,
know
don't
anyone
do
else
that.
that you've shared. I don't know anyone else that you've shared paint making videos and turtles sampling fruit and stuff videos
Yeah.
with other than me.
Yep, and the lizards.
Absolutely. Can't forget
Oh.
the beardies.
I know, they're the
I
best.
did not. That was a. Anyway,
Straight up
that
good
was-
time.
yeah,
You know.
that's what that was.
Yep. Yeah, also thanks, White.
Yeah, wait, you're demoted.
White, when you unretiring, I know you can't stay away from us for long.
Yeah, motherfucker reinstalled the game to play with us last Saturday. That was funny. Man was like, I'm installing the game because if it's installed, I'm gonna want to come play with you guys. Reinstalls
What
the
if I
game
told
anyway.
you? What if I told you, White, that you got two pretty solid, you know, a command interim and a actual interim? You could just come back and be a corner.
You
You
know,
could
it
just
would be a
fix
really interesting scenario that it'd be an interesting scenario that I wouldn't know really how to, to touch on. Like if White came back and wanted to be a part of command again, I would have no fucking idea what to do. I mean,
You can make him.
never mind. Yeah, I
can
would.
make him a
Yeah, I
warrant.
would. He'd be a surgeon.
Yeah.
He'd be a surgeon. He'd be an ensign.
Yeah. You could do ensign, or you could do. The Navy has ground warrant officers as well. I even have one in my cyber shop. And I mean, if there's anyone that's extremely technically sound on cat, it's him.
I would be down for that. But the issue is, I already know it would confuse the fuck out of people in the unit to
Yeah.
have 3 sets of warrant officers that all 3 do different
having an
things with the same
ensign-
ranks.
Yeah, ensign would be the easier approach, but you know, I think the walk program is a lot more approachable than the OCS.
Oh, I wouldn't. I would just make him an ensign, 100%.
Oh. All right, well there you go, White. We'll see you this Saturday. Report for formation and promotion.
Please come back before I leave for
It-
basic.
It would mean that Keeper, you would no longer have to come to me. You'd just report to White again.
I'm just finally getting used to where I'm at. God damn it.
I am not White. I am not pulling you into chat, you monkey.
Comfort is the opposite of growth.
No, why?
He joined Chow Hall and was like, "Pull me up there." He's about to talk some mad shit. Do we pull him?
Trying to
Do we pull him
swing.
up? Do we just have a surprise guest midway through
Did he
this
say?
fucking?
Did he say please?
No, he didn't say
did he
please.
say please?
He said, "Pull me into
Oh.
chat so I can respond to Cyber." How about you type it out on the YouTube side, huh?
Yeah.
man.
How about you feed the algorithm?
Blah, 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 blah. Do your job. Retired.
Could you imagine
senior
how
chief.
wild? Could you imagine how wild YouTube would be if there was voice comments?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I wouldn't listen to any of it
That
because it
fail
would just be.
I can't believe you put
Irrational
it into
screaming.
existence.
Yes.
Yeah, give it a few years, it'll turn out. Oh, pretty pleased with the cherry. All right, now I gotta pull him.
Yeah.
Alright, now
Alright.
we gotta pull him.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, pull him up.
Why?
Let me just.
Why?
Why?
Alright, I'm not gonna be here long. Okay.
Uh huh.
But Cyber, I will come back once I get my life figured out and I'm not working 2 jobs and my schedule's fixed.
See,
Yeah,
now
fair.
that's time
seems right.
management, not rage quitting
Yeah.
the unit.
Yeah. He's like, man, I have obligations. I need to cut something out of my life. Unfortunately, it's got to be this.
Yeah, like my whole decision was I am working 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs now because I'm picked up 30 hours at Waffle House. I'm doing 30 hours at Carrabba's, and I'm a full-time student as well.
Like, how
So-
does it feel to just have the most massive, well, hung brain when it comes to organization? It's definitely what I was going for. Yeah. Why can't other people be as smart as you are when it comes to life priorities?
So, honestly, when I was in my 20s, I did not have this time management
I
bullshit.
didn't ask you. I didn't ask you to date
It-
yourself, Bubba. I wasn't going to do that.
It takes time and practice and figuring out what's more important in your life. Unfortunately,
Did you say
ha-
that while shaking your cane slightly off the ground? Sorry.
You
Damn.
could hear it.
Yeah.
No. I was shaking my walker.
Oh, damn! He's already at the walker stage.
You got tennis balls on the legs?
Yeah,
Stuff up your floor,
and the
Oh,
legs
could-
the legs are painted with flames.
Damn.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do I fully see? Like, if White ever has to go into a wheelchair at all, it will have flames painted on it. Like,
Oh, you know it's Cyber.
Like-
You definitely know it.
that's. I know we're all joking and stuff about his age, but he has that planned actually, like, in his future.
Oh, Cyber, I'm fucking putting a go-kart engine on a fucking wheelchair.
Oh my god.
That is terrifying. Have you seen the people that like supercharge the golf carts?
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying. Anyway,
used-
that's
I
way
used
off
to have
topic.
one.
What? Yeah, those are scary. There is not enough safety like things on a golf cart for it to be driving 50 miles an hour.
No. But yeah, once I get my life figured out and stuff, I will come back to the unit.
Very cool.
Requesting permission to put White in the hot seat as to return the favor.
Absolutely.
All right, White.
Fuck him up. Fuck him
So
up.
my question for you: how do you feel about the leadership of the corpsmen since you've gone, and the future of that?
God damn. All right, Nap, just
Yeah.
don't fucking
How do you-
pull back on that
How
one.
do you
No, I
How
said
do you-
hot seat.
how do
I
you
said
feel-
hot seat.
Never
Okay,
mind.
okay.
I almost.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna put my Tupac shirt on real quick. Hang on. Let me just.
Hey, White. How do you
Biggie.
feel being replaced by 2 women? Do you think they're doing a good?
I could say something right now, Cyber. But
Hey. At least the women are women, or at least the women are winning somewhere, because it sure as shit ain't the
Absolutely.
presidential election.
Oh, hold on. All right, hold on. Well,
What are
boy.
elections?
That's goodbye to our
Huh?
algorithm.
Yeah, fuck you, YouTube. All right, anyway.
Gone.
all right, so one of the privileges of being retired, I can say, sorry guys, I gotta go.
Oh god.
So I don't have to answer that question
That's
if I don't
crazy.
want
Yeah,
You're
but out
still
of the
here.
goodness of your heart.
Damn, he just said, fuck you. You know what? No instant status for you. Get out of here.
No.
Goodbye. Back to
to.
town
Alright,
hall.
so no, but for the current leadership, I'm proud of what they've done so far. Like, I know I haven't been gone long, but they've been doing a damn good job, from what I can see.
It is not on fire yet.
It is not. It is not on fire yet.
Only when it's meant to be on fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Controlled
So-
burnings and all
Wait,
that.
what?
Napalm sticks to kids. What can I say?
Huh?
So I can say that is a good thing. It's not on fire yet. Yes, I prepped / groomed Keeper to take over for if I ever decided to leave.
You cannot come in here and double down. That's,
Like a
that's
chia
not what
pet.
this is for.
Like a chia pet.
So,
I
But,
told you that was his words.
anyways,
Jesus Christ.
when I left, I knew it was in a good spot, especially with Snap coming through the pipeline. Even though what I requested and told by somebody else didn't go all the way through.
Yeah, I was about to say, how do you feel about your traitor?
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, it's so far so good. Like, just because I don't care anymore, I'm retired. It's responding to what Cyber said about 2 women taking over. It takes 2 women to replace 1 guy.
Ah!
Okay, alright, well now...
Oh.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
Well, what I said was a joke. That was...
It's cause the
we gotta
boots
talk
are.
later.
It's cause the boots to fill are too big. You need 2 feet to fill them.
Exactly.
There you go.
Physically.
That's what we're gonna go with.
Man,
Yep.
we are
You can go back
really
to
just
Chow
towing the
now.
line tonight, y'all. Jesus Christ.
McDonald would be proud.
Yeah, he would.
Towing the line.
That shitbag corporal retired. God damn it, boy.
Time for you to
But
come
no,
on.
it's in all honesty, I'm proud of both
Ugh.
Nap and Keeper and stepping up and doing a great job with the corpsman. It makes me feel good that it makes me feel like I did something right when I fought for Keeper to take over and helped her get ready for it. And then Nap, you were halfway through the pipeline when I was getting ready to go out. So
Yes, sir.
it makes me feel good that Keeper helped you get through that the rest of the way, along with the traitor.
Yeah, it was definitely a joint effort with a lot of people.
But yeah, that's pretty much about it.
I
Thank you
love
for
it when
answering
the
my
NCO
question.
Corps is self-sufficient.
But, all right, I have to go. I will see you guys later.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
leave now, White.
Goodbye.
Have a
Thank
good
you for your
night.
kind words. We appreciate
Good night,
them.
White.
Happy Tuesday. Okay.
First off, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, for
Yes.
Oh,
real.
yeah.
It is always Happy Tuesday, though.
Fair.
Yeah.
But
I-
the real question,
why?
the real
No,
question
wait, no,
is,
pause. No, why?
I
Why
have
is it
no
always Happy
explanation.
Tuesday?
It just.
Okay.
It's just. You know, you just go Happy Tuesday, and everyone goes, "What?"
chaos.
All right. Well, you're
Yes.
demoted, part 20.
Now
Yes,
the
sir,
the
thank
real
you.
With that
question
being-
is, did y'all wear pink today?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God! I also well, kinda. It's a green shirt, but it has pink designs on it. So
If you have pink somewhere, it counts enough.
He joke.
Oh my
So
God.
with that being
Look,
said,
no.
That
No,
Um,
nope, nope,
wasn't
nope.
intended
No,
in that
no.
way at all.
hey, y'all interpret
love
whatever the
how-
giggle
yeah, I was
was
about to say,
in
he
your
said,
own way. If y'all are dirty like that, y'all
Listen,
are dirty like that. But
I
anyway,
I think we know you
as
enough.
I said, you don't know me. You don't know me or Burger King. Anyway.
No, not Burger King.
With that being said, we're gonna get into the next topic of the night because we've spent a little bit talking about like y'all's growth as individuals in the unit.
I
And-
have a quick topic.
No, you don't.
Let's talk about the origin story of Cap and the month of November.
Oh,
He thought he
goodness.
was getting out of this.
Origin story?
Why does
Yeah,
Cap hate November so much?
Oh, all right. I was so
I don't think
lost in
we-
the
did we
sauce. I was
talk
like,
about
I wasn't born in November.
Is that a word that we could say,
November?
like for YouTube?
Uh,
I think
probably not.
what?
But
I think I've seen a lot of people like bleep it, not bleep it out, but like change this closed caption on it.
there is a certain word that is very high up in Cap's vocabulary.
starts with C.
Starts with C.
Um,
That 2 years ago, he was challenged that during the entire month of November, he is not allowed to say said word.
yeah,
See you next Tuesday?
it's because
No.
he said it.
No.
See you
the
Monday.
time.
Oh.
Dog, it took me so long to put that together. It flew right over my head at first. I was like, man, I'm not tracking this. What's going on Tuesday or Monday?
It just so happens the month coincides with No Nut November. And instead of that, Cap can't say the other word for the entire month of November.
I believe in you, Bubba.
Also, the other November, the no shave
He's done
November.
fine. He's done.
He's
Like this will
he
be
has
his
been-
third year.
I was gonna say he's been successful the past 2 years. And then December
I think we
1st
gave him one,
December 1st rolls around and it's just all hell
And
breaks
it's gonna be
loose.
bad. It's gonna be. We pay for it on the back end.
Hate you all.
No, you don't.
He's in so much pain.
yeah. Anyway.
Only.
Moving
Oh,
on.
man.
Fuck you, Dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, fucking let's move it on to what's also gone on besides some of like internal unit drama, nonsensical stuff. Drama always finds Milsim. Let's talk about the joint ops. So joint operations.
Ooh, sorry.
Let's go at, you know what?
Round robin.
Apologies. We've been kind of doing a solid back and forth. One of the last surveys was, they feel like command talks too much and they wanted the guests and stuff to speak more. So been pretty interactive with Nap, and that's kind of been the focus, but we'll bring it back to the OG method for a bit. And we'll start with bottom up. I want you guys to talk about your thoughts, experiences on the 8th SEAL team and 171st air cab unit that we've been operating with for the last couple weeks now. Be honest, just be appropriate when you're honesty. But yeah, Nap, we'll start with you.
I had very little interaction with the SEAL team that came through. That initial one. A lot of their stuff I was focusing on. I think those were my first operations, being both an NCO and standing in as fill-in trauma actual. So I was very focused on that at the time. So I know most of their stuff was kind of, they had their own objectives, so we didn't interact with them too much. to my understanding. And then as far as things go with the 171st, they've been really great to work with. It's been very interesting learning their system, which is so insanely different than ours. Definitely has a lot of challenges, especially as far as the medical systems go. It's I don't know, you start getting comfortable with our medical system after some time and getting used to it and, you know, adjusting and getting familiar with kind of not only the basics of the system, but also like, oh, okay, I'm seeing this thing going wrong. I don't need to reference any paperwork. I know this is this. And you kind of start to adjust to the more complex things you don't see as often anymore. And so you kind of start to get comfortable with that, and then going into their system was almost like whiplash, I would say. There's just so much more information, but everyone has been very helpful with the learning process, and I think it's been a good exercise in just kind of continuing to grow and take on new challenges here and there. And that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Keeper.
Well, like Nap said, didn't see much of the field team guys. Heard a few comments about like women in Arma. I was like, whatever. It's just guys being guys. But didn't really interact with them much. The 171st, a lot like Nap said. Kind of like Whiplash, because I mean, I think I just broke 350 hours in Arma, and I'm like, Cat Medical is the only system I've ever used. However, I was actually a really big fan of their, what's the word? Medevac thingy? The thing where they had us all run to like the ambulance that Zeus healed us, and then we were able to reinsert everybody at the same time. I was a big fan of that. Not a huge fan of the miscommunication that happened, because that ended up in Cap's death during that op. But I will forever detest the syringes that the 171st uses. I still do not understand how to draw the syringes of medications. I figured out the math. I just couldn't figure out the syringes. But big shout out to Aaron and Skyreed for trying to help me with that.
Yes, that's me. I'm used to Ace. Yeah, so I'm not gonna pull punches. I don't think that's not my really forte. I've been kind of assigned the liaison between 13th and 171st recently, and so I'm kind of stepping into that main role. But first, the SEAL team, man, like one negative thing happens and you're gone. All the planning and stuff we had going, you were just like, nah, we're actually done with that. We haven't seen you since. So it definitely looks bad, like across the unit, especially, people that didn't really get the reason why you left. And a lot of people don't know that, like your ops are usually only like an hour, and, ours are much longer than that. So when your guys getting off, but also like, asking around and stuff, people very much viewed some of your guys as your personality is, I pretend to be a SEAL team online, and not the best look. But if it works for you and you have fun, it's a video game, so everyone's entitled to play the way they want to. For the 171st, I'm thoroughly impressed with the 171st, because Milsim, or when you get into the what we jokingly say kind of, perfect sim, but that mix in between, you're not full hardcore and you're not full like casual either. There's a lot of different like percentages in there that can go together to find what works, right? I think we found a very good equation for it. The amount of realism to the amount of like, this is a video game and we're here to have fun. um, they have also found a very good mix, and they went into the more right column of we're gonna make it a lot more realistic, but in our off time we're gonna play just as hard, right? You work hard and you play hard. I think we work hard and we play hard. They play hard, or they work harder and they play harder. As in, like, their core people are very tight knit. They are always online playing different games with each other and stuff like that, and so their bonds between their people are extremely strong. And I think that helps when you have a harder challenge in that more realistic mod list and operation design. And so I think it's just kind of like where it might be hard for our members to like go over there to play, because it is that much higher difficulty. Maybe not much higher, but much more realistic. It does allow them to be able to come hang out with us and it be a more chill day for them. So I think whereas it might be a little more difficult to work hand in hand all the time, they're an extremely good unit to have friends with and be in contact with, and maybe not a full partnership, but definitely a what I want to call it, kind of like a situationship. Where our guys can hang out together, we can have fun and stuff. They can bring people over here when they want to. We can, people that want to try the hardcore stuff, on optional days can go over there. We have kind of the same understanding of rules and stuff like that, and so it's a very good group that have found the same result that we have here, just with a different formula. And I've been enjoying hanging out with Guy Raid over there and his buddies. Boy, if you ever want to play some War Thunder, man, they are always in that high. They like playing high ground battle or high tier ground battle. They are always over there playing. So good people to hang out with. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I think I covered it pretty good.
All right, Soccer, come on, Bubba.
That leaves me. I'll say for the SEAL team, they were interesting. Obviously we had like a server crash. Unfortunate, but did not expect them to leave after that. I don't know if they just didn't understand the way we operated, how long our operations lasted, but I'm still confused on how it would have worked had there been no crash. Would they have just left after the hour? Would they have joined back in with us? So that whole thing was just a little weird, confusing. I don't know if something was lost in communication or what happened. And then the 171st, I actually haven't done a op with them yet. Every time there's been a joint op, I've had a game. But like Zach was saying, they are a lot more hardcore. Personally, that's not my style of Arma that I enjoy, but there are definitely some people that enjoy that. Like I don't like playing Arma with stamina and insane weapon sway, or I think they have like eating or drinking, but again, that's just my taste. But I will say it is definitely nice to have a situationship with another well established unit that we can provide resources to, and they can provide resources to us as needed. and hopefully both help each other grow as units in the future. That's all I got.
All right, dubs.
Oh boy, is it my turn? Yeah, the SEAL team guys. I mean, pretty much just what everyone said. They showed up just enough for formation, and then the server crashed, and they didn't come back. What's the point? Like, I don't get it. The 171st. Two old buddies of mine from a squad unit way back when are over there, so that's kind of cool. Just kind of like a little small world thing. Aaron and Crowley, if you're listening, hey, what's up? However, the way their mods are set up and all of that aside, you know, I want to play Arma. I don't want to play what can essentially be broken down to Tarkov, or Tarkov-esque, I should say. I'm not going over there for anything. Honestly and truthfully, I'm not going to their server for anything. For those who were in my immediate vicinity during the training that we had on their server, I essentially crashed out and left because Acre is fucking dumb and you can't mute your mic on Acre, and I heard both 171st and 13th, more 171st, pissing and moaning about the background noise at my house with, you know, my kids and my family and whatnot. And I essentially had enough and I left. So that was the impression that was made to me about the 171st on their server, and that has solidified my decision to not do anything over there. You know, if they want to come over and, do stuff with us, perfectly fine. You know, I'm not going to hold any disdainment when it comes to that, but any joint ops that are happening over there, you're not going to see me. Plain and simple.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Y'all motherfuckers need to say when you're done. All right.
No.
Yeah, on my side of things, so I guess to open up with like the SEAL team guys, highly recommended by Task Force Longbow, by Lieutenant Colonel Baggs. You know, he's a cool dude. He's pretty chill. We've helped his guys out. He's helped us out with some stuff. He, you know, highly recommended the 8th SEAL team, the 171st, and another unit that never responded. So, yeah, I guess it was kind of on me for not like seeking more clarity and just assuming that most units ran longer than an hour. But as it was told by me, the 8th SEAL team is made up of like half or more than half like people in Europe or Australia. So like half of the guys that came were like from Australia or something like that, or from Europe, so they were already way past their bedtime. And then on top of that, as Bags told me, well, SEALs only operate for a short period of time, which respectfully is kind of a really dumb bullshit reason, but whatever. I wasn't really too fond of them, you know, speaking a certain way about female members. I mean, you know, I guess it's that old adage, boys will be boys kind of shit, but it's like, really, dude? Like, on a video game with like just people trying to like hang out and have a good time? I don't know. It's a weird kind of thing, but each their own, I suppose. Yeah, haven't seen or heard from them since. They said that they would join with the 171st whenever they came over to do ops and trainings and stuff. They never showed. Nor did they show when we went over to their stuff the other time. I don't know. I'm not gonna reach out. If they reach out, cool beans. But yeah, that was kind of like a wash situation. It wasn't like horrendous, you know. They seemed well enough behaved and, you know, chill, but it was just a very funny and surreal experience to like have, as Cyber put, like these like I'm a SEAL online guy, and like they get on our server an hour before our op even starts, and they're doing drills in our like briefing building to like be SEAL esque or whatever it was. It was really goofy, and um, just for the server to crash, like maybe 5 minutes in, reset and get on, and then they're like, "Yeah, my guys are going to bed. Sorry." So I don't know. That it was just a really weird goober ass moment of, you know, if you're only on for an hour, why did you get on an hour before the op started? You know, or your guys are so impatient they couldn't wait 5 minutes for the server to come back online. It was very weird, and it definitely left a sour taste in my mouth, and obviously it left a sour taste in everybody else's mouth. So we'll see how it all develops. I'm not too sure. Hopefully they don't cry if they find this podcast, because apparently this podcast is getting around to other Milsim units now. So that was interesting to find out. And then I guess that kind of leads me to, yeah, I guess that leads me to the 171st. I think as an organization, I think they're a good organization. I don't think there's really any like major issues. The only thing that is a major issue that pretty much everyone has talked about is like the mods. They're just so intricately separate from us in a more in-depth way, that it creates a really hard like stopgap between like where we try to focus on the balance of mills, the mill and sim. They're just like mill, you know, like it's all like one of them's talking about passively like, yeah, we have a 100-page EOD doc, and it's like, what the fuck, like, you know, we have maybe like 4 or 5 pages on EOD, and like I'm not gonna shit on it because they're gonna play their game how they want to play it, and to each their own. I don't think it, you know, it's not wrong or bad or whatever. It's just not me, right? I'm not gonna spend, you know, a day or two reading 100 pages worth of ARMA stuff about like explosives, you know, through the game. But then, you know, we'll have people who join our unit will be like, "What, 4 pages? That's too much," you know. So to each their own. That's my point, right? I thought they were a great unit to work with. Their guys are fairly locked in to a very heightened degree. When they came over to our side of stuff for trainings and ops, it was good. I didn't see any real, you know, heavy issues with it. We had maybe one blue on blue like moment, and that was only because they've spent the last several months fighting insurgents who now happen to wear, I should say updated insurgents, because they wear like mixed Marpat uniforms and shit. And so when they saw Marpat for the first time in our, you know, training exercise, they shot at one of our dudes. So there was that. But beyond that, in the op, I mean, they were fantastic. In Zeus, I got to see everything, and they were great. Heard they were slow on comms, but they're again used to Acre, and we use TFAR. So great unit, you know, really great in terms of like its depth, but it's so different. I can't force my members who, in my sense, are general Milsim players and not hardcore Milsim players to like actively be told to go over there and them not have that kind of fun experience, because that's not what they signed up for. You know, it's just too different, and I totally respect that. And that's, you know, as my job is here, that's my whole shindig. Which is why this Saturday is an optional op to either, well, it is optional to go to theirs. It is still mandatory to go to ours. You're only excused if you go to theirs, right? So hopefully there's no issues or ill will, but you know, I'm sure some drama, nonsense shit will happen. Hopefully not. Especially remembering Battlefield days, as being Cyber like to remember, that shit was. People would say one thing, do another. So far, 171st, they've pretty much been on top of their stuff. Oh, maybe except for their training on that one Friday. That was a very roundabout training, but then again, we were a just massive class of like quote unquote recruits. But again, Part 20 overall. I think it was a really, it was great to get back out there in the community and see what's kind of in store for the unit. It posed a question amongst leadership of if we even wanted to do joint ops, like at all. To which, command staff has continuously pushed for and molded over with, and we're just going through the steps of learning and just hearing the advices of those around above and below. But yeah, that's kind of my whole little spiel on them. With that being said, I know Soccer's got to leave here in like 10 minutes. So, Soccer, Bubba, question for you. As the XO of Tuma, right? You've been holding your billet now for what? Almost 4 months, 6 months?
6 months, maybe. I could be wrong.
All I know is my question to you is how has the experience been from its start to now, to like making XO, being a member of command staff, being a part of the meetings, the drama, like what is the perspective of yourself and the perspective of like being XO of Tuma?
Hold on. Could you repeat that? I have a question on the phrasing.
The whole thing?
Yeah, so you said like what is my perspective on like myself and the XO of Tumal? Could you like what do you mean, like myself in the unit or as like a leader?
Oh, I meant that
command staff?
specifically. Yeah, two separate perspectives. Yeah, there's two separate perspectives. There's like your individual perspective as just a regular human being, and then there's your perspective as a member of the unit who's the executive officer.
Okay.
What has that experience been like for either or?
So I will say, being the XO and being a part of command staff, it definitely opened my eyes up to a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Like I knew as a DETCOM like about some of the behind the scenes stuff, but I really never knew the amount of it. So like people, I think it's been brought up a few times, like joke about the 3 a.m. meetings and stuff. Those are real. They happen. And like I was never a part of that until I was became the XO. And honestly, I mean, it's a part of the Milsim. I guess I want to say, I don't want to say drama, but it's just a part of Milsim. I feel like anywhere you go, the higher up you go in whatever unit you're in, you're gonna have to deal with some sort of drama at some point. But it's definitely been fun because I enjoy the unit. I want to see it grow, and have it succeed in the future. And then as far as Tumal goes, it's definitely been it's different, but it's not massively different. Really, as the XO, I'm just bridging the gap between the DETCOMs and dubs for the most part. But honestly, we have like between the DETCOMs, dubs, and myself, we openly communicate with each other a lot. So it's not too much of like, hey, this is only for you and dubs. It's a lot of stuff that's in DETCOM chat that we're working on, like a lot of new projects. Hopefully we'll have a transport rotary DETCOM in the future, so I can get with them and start doing some SOPs. If we don't have one soon, I'll start writing up some stuff for amphibious water landings and formation flying. But it's definitely been different, but different and interesting, but in a good way. If you want me to add more or clarify anything, just let me know.
No, you're demoted.
Hey, firm, private first class. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, that pretty much sums up my questions for you. With that being said, I'm gonna swing it over again to Nap and Keeper in that order. What? Because tonight's episode, Keeper, you've answered this a couple weeks back, but we're kind of gonna revisit it, just as your further experience onward. What has it been like with y'all's experience now in Milsim and specifically also in the 13th as being women of the unit? Do you guys think that has helped you get in the positions that you're in? Do you think it's hindered you? Do you find it to be a weird middle ground that you have to navigate? Does it come up at all? Right, like just being like females on Arma, because it's such a it's been a growing part of the community of gaming for a while, but obviously for a hot minute there, gaming had been kind of just the boys, the guys kind of thing. So, with that in mind, like, what is that experience like for you both now, in Milsim and in the 13th?
I have to say, for me personally, one of my favorite things about being a woman, especially in this army unit, is there's two of us. So especially when, for whatever reason, Keeper's not here, or even if it's just the two of us, and we're both there. But if I'm talking over radio and I'm in a fire team, everybody knows who's speaking. If I, for any reason, when I get over Corpsman net, there might be like a little bit of complication, but they know the difference between our voices now. So that's great. But just like the clarity of radio comms, because when you're still learning a bunch of dudes' voices, they might sound similar over radio. Even if they're not the same, it can be hard to match them up to whose is whose. Like, even if they sound different, it's like, okay, which voice is this? But when there's only two women in a unit, it's 50-50 shot. And a lot of times they get it right. And the best thing is, like, since we both are in the Corpsman, usually it's medical related, and most of the time it's something where, like, even if they're trying to talk to Keeper, it's usually about a medical problem that I can also handle. So it's just quality of comms is excellent with just so few people.
Is that all?
I mean, as far as everything as far as everything else, I mean, it's not too much of a factor for me, really. I've been in gaming the majority of my life, and like I was in like the Modern Warfare 3 lobbies.
Oh no.
In my early formative years.
Oh, so you were there.
Young woman, yeah. So I was in the trenches. So
you were
it's
in
like
the fucking meat grinder with the rest of us. Okay.
Yep.
Mad respect.
Yeah. So it's like pretty much, unless it's on like that level or worse than that, it's like you're not phasing me much. So people do little quips and stuff, but most of the time I beat them to it, because it's like they say the same jokes over and over again, and it's like, I've heard it. It's not even funny anymore. It's the same thing. So as long as it's done in a funny, ironic way and we all get to laugh together, which has been mostly my experience in this unit, it's just like, I'll be the one who's like sets drive, and then we all make the women are bad at driving jokes. And then we all have a fun time, and we move on and we do other stuff. And then, I don't wreck the, Vic that I'm driving, and we all get there safe and everyone's happy.
That's it. Putting Nap in a plane.
Hey, I mean, if that is what is required of me, that is what I will do,
No, it's gonna crash.
Soccer, get her a rotary qual.
Hey, I mean, people don't say women can't fly, they just say they can't drive. So, I mean, I guess there's no turn signals in the sky?
There's wheels at some point, so...
Well, they didn't say take off or land. They didn't say taxiing, they just said fly.
Alright, okay.
Oh, flying is engine start to engine shutdown.
Ooh.
Sagar, you gotta leave now, or what you say, Red?
I think it said 10:30 at the latest.
I got a few more minutes. I'll get through. I'll leave after they're done with
their
the
spiel.
questions. Yeah.
I am
Alright.
also gonna have to pop off here soon because I gotta be up early in the morning.
Okay.
Probably about
Yeah, I think
almost
we'll,
mealtime.
we can probably wrap it up soon here. Yeah, I've only got, after you both answer, I only got one more question. And it's fairly short, but
But yeah, so that's my experience as a woman. You know, like it's easy to get to know people because like you stand out initially, but then like once you kind of blend in or like get used to the tempo of the unit and the way that people work, you know, you just kind of people don't really notice that you're a woman as much anymore, except for just distinguishing voices over comms. So that's been my experience.
fair enough. Keeper?
You know, it has been overwhelmingly positive. For 99% of my time here, I've had one incident where I really got kind of into someone in 13th chat, and then Dubs was like, "Conversation's over,"
Yeah.
and shut that shit down.
And we are done.
Yeah, but I feel like I said what needed to be said in that situation. I mean, I have not been in gaming that long. Like, I've been a gamer for maybe a year and a half now, right? So to me, this is all like new-ish, but also not, because I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, conservative town. Like, you're a woman, know your place, blah blah blah. Blah. Like, so it's not really new to me. And my little brother
I
is
love to
watching.
see it.
He knows this. Also, hi, Will.
Join the unit.
But he's 17. He can, but he doesn't have a computer. So,
All right, step one.
But I mean, I've had a couple incidents that I've been like, that's a little uncomfy. But like, 99% of the time, it's like just fine, and I feel like I'm just part of like part of the guys, but like not in a bad way, like not in a Jackie way. No. He's throwing stuff at me. What? Oh, honey. Sorry. River was supposed to stop eating an hour ago because he's got medical stuff to do tomorrow. The only other thing that I've noticed about being a woman in the unit, and especially in this role as command staff and leadership, especially taking over for White, because that is some huge boots to fill, is that I don't feel like I carry as much respect as White did. And there's been a few instances where, like, that's been almost proven to me, but overall, it's been okay.
I think that also, just a little bit, would play into time.
Absolutely.
White had also
Absolutely does.
significantly been like there for a long time, and you're still
Right.
starting out. And I'm not saying that as a, this is like the green light to disrespect you. I'm saying that as in like, people are still gonna fill you out regardless. You know what I mean? Like, then that goes with any situation where someone is just placed in charge of a set of people who have been there,
No, 100%.
for an exceedingly
I
longer period of
agree with that.
time.
And
Yeah,
that
that's,
is I was just gonna say that's a big thing with just navigating roles in life as a woman, is trying to figure out like, hey, is this lack of respect due to like inexperience, due to, some other factors because they haven't gotten to know me yet, or is it because they just don't respect women? And it can be a very difficult thing to feel out and see where you stand with people. And it's not always because like, oh, they like hate women or something. A lot of times it's more subtle and like the person doesn't even necessarily realize that they're doing it, which makes it an even more difficult issue to tackle. But yeah, it's just a weird thing to kind of figure out your bearing and your people when you don't, trying to figure out where the things come from and what you can do about it. Because like, if someone doesn't respect you because of like lack of experience, lack of time in a role, things like that, those can all be rectified. If they don't respect you just because like, you're a lady, there's not much you can do about that, unfortunately.
Kick them from the unit because that's discriminatory behavior.
Yeah, but if it's
yeah, and it's
if
a zero
if
tolerance.
yeah, but if it's like real subtle stuff where it's like, hey, this isn't disrespectful, it's just not respectful.
They're being facetious.
Yeah, or like there's like, significant kind of like gray area, and especially it's one of those things where it's like, am I interpreting this as disrespectful or is it actually disrespectful? And so it's just like a bunch of weird lines, but like knowing that, pretty much everyone in the 13th and everyone who is in leadership roles is continuously making it very clear that like, hey, if anyone does any of these things that are like absolute no-goes, just let us know and we will deal with it, because that's a huge comfort for sure.
100%.
Now, I will add in, this image immediately came to my mind as soon as Keeper said she's only been a gamer for like a year and a half. In respect, the essence of gaming, I immediately thought of this fucking anime image with like Nap as like patting the kid's head, which would be like Keeper as a gamer. And then there's the picture of like Nap during like Modern Warfare 3 lobby.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Just terrified.
Yeah, it was
in the shit, man.
they were dark times. Like that was like, I was in formative years too. Like that was middle school. So like going through all kinds of changes and everything, and
you got guys saying the N-word, or like grown adults talking about like putting in your fucking butt, like doing some crazy mental shit, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Stand
and then
by,
of course
meme
like
incoming.
everyone telling you to like, go like off yourself and all that stuff all the time. And then there was one game recently, because I play Siege, and I think part of the reason why is because it reminds me of my Call of Duty days. Back when lobbies were able to be as toxic as they were. It's the closest thing I've gotten to that level of toxicity, and it just, I don't know, it's nostalgic, I guess.
In a really fucked up way. I understand.
In a really terrible way. Yeah. But so we were in that lobby, and me and my friends were playing, and we were on a team, and we had one rando, and he had a very thick accent. I don't even know what accent, but it just made it so much funnier, because he was like, get in the kitchen, get in the kitchen, get it, just the entire game. That was the only thing he would say the entire game, and it was hilarious.
Want another game that can bring back some of that toxicity? Try out Overwatch.
Oh my god.
I will have to look into it. Because it's just, I don't know. It's like when you go and you have like really crappy pizza, because it reminds you of that like one place that had really crappy pizza when you were a kid. Or, it's just like things that like aren't good, but they bring nostalgia anyway.
Oh boy.
That's a good meme.
And so with that, I will say, apologies. So with that, kind of coming on to the ending note here, it's rare enough that a Milsim has, more than one female in the unit, right? Now, let's also talk about how rare it is that not only are the females in the unit, but their husbands are in the unit as well. And then to add another layer onto it, both couple sets are
all leadership.
NCOs.
They're all leadership.
So, with that in mind, as the final kind of ending note for just the shit of it, again, Nap and then Keeper, how does that affect y'all's dynamic in the unit? Like, just knowing that information, does it change anything? Do you guys quip about stuff like in real life about like random Milsim shit, or like how does that all operate now?
So for me, my husband and I have been playing games together since we started dating, pretty much. It's always been an important part of our relationship, and it's really fun because it's one of those things where we get to kind of shit on each other and get those kind of like petty little pent up bits of like, unpleasantness that, everyone has to some extent. But we get it out in an inconsequential way within video games, you know? And so it's like, if he loses a vehicle, you know, I might be like, oh, come on, what were you doing? What were you doing? You could have had that. Come on, let's go over your after action report and see what mistakes you made and
Oh
what you
my
could have done
God.
better. And like, you know, we just go back and forth and tease each other and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where like he's in the unit and I'm in the unit, but we don't hide the fact that we're married at all. But we also, that's not the primary purpose of the unit for us, and it's just kind of a thing where like we have kind of a, like there's certain things where we're very much like husband and wife in, and we just kind of keep that a little bit separate, but that's just what we choose to do personally. I don't think there's any like correct or incorrect way to navigate like being in a game with your spouse and stuff like that. But it is really nice for like training situations or anything where it's like, hey, I'd love to teach like the first half of this BCT, but maybe I don't want to teach the second half. Or just like, hey, I have a question about this. Let me just ask them just super quick because I know that they know. Or just any areas, because he has a lot more armor experience than I do. So he gets to fill those gaps for me very, very quickly without me having to, you know, like bother people with like COC stuff. And it's like an immediate response. I just walk into his office and I'm like, hey, what's this keybind again, please and thank you, because my brain just stopped working. But other than that, we tend to keep stuff a little separate.
I will say, if you ever want anything to give him a little jab at, you did your NCO written test in one try. He had to take it twice.
Yep. Well, and he also waited for me to take my NCO boards so that he could, because I mean I didn't really like give him tips or anything, because it's like if he can pass it on, like I have full faith that he can pass it without me like helping him behind the scenes or anything like that. So I'm not going to do that because like that would cheapen his own success. So like we don't do that. But you know, we did talk and he was like, oh, how was it, and I was like, I don't know, do it and figure it out yourself. You'll find out when you take your NCO boards, bud.
See, Karen hears me talk about all like the 13 stuff and whatnot, and she just comes up to me and she's like, you're a fucking nerd.
Well, it's also we joke about a lot of stuff because it's you know, we game together, we're both, you know, leadership in the 13th together, and then also I'm now embarking in my military career and he's in the military and I'm looking at progressing into leadership eventually, you know, and my goal is to get the same rank as him so that we can both be like that rank, same last name, and so it gets really confusing when, you know, someone calls us.
Which one are
That's
you
one
looking
of
for?
my silly little, exactly, it's like me, him, which one, that gets confused. And then also, you know, to be like, oh no, I am my husband's rank, no, like no, like I earned it myself, but like literally we're the same rank. It's cool.
That might be the only motivator for me to join the forces.
Honestly though, it's just but that's just one of my silly little goals. That's not the reason why I'm joining, but just a silly goal within it, you know. But that's my 2 cents.
For me, it's kind of funny. So River and I actually met for the first time in an army unit, a different unit, but an army unit nonetheless. And then we ended up getting together, and we've been living together for a year now, and consistently gaming together, and it's been like the majority of my time gaming seriously has been with him. He kind of taught me how to game, but it's been a lot of learning from like watching him do leadership stuff in so many different units. And I will say, like, the 13th is probably one of the longest running units I've seen him be in, you be in, because I know you're listening.
Damn, got him.
But it's been also kind of weird because as a member of, like, the interim member of command staff, I have to remain unbiased in my opinion of him a lot of, not a lot of the time, but like sometimes. And it's so weird for me to think of like our relationship, but then our like relationship within the unit, and then us individually as leaders within the unit. And it's such a weird place for me to be as someone who's not used to gaming.
It gets so meta so quick.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And like he and I have actually had like little, not fights. I don't think we've ever fought about anything 13th related, but like we've had genuine conversations where we will sit there for like 2 hours after op and after all the meetings are done, and we will just talk about the 13th. And like it has become such a big part of our life. And you know, Cap says our son Ozzy for EXO of the unit eventually, but like it does impact our time with Ozzy, because on the nights that we have trainings and ops, Ozzy, like, it's kind of hard to put a kid to bed on a night that you have an op and a training going on, and that's impacted our time with him. And that's I don't know, it's been weird but good, and it's been, I think, helping with the growth of our relationship, and definitely helping me find healthy boundaries, because I was not in a good like relationship place previously, so River's kind of like my first ever healthy relationship. But it's been like this entire process of like not just being in the unit, but like being around all of you guys has been such a growing experience for me. And it has had a profound impact on my life. And that is all I've really got to say.
I think as just a final note, I know it's kind of a mind fuck for you guys, but like, you know how we had that whole spiel earlier about like what command deals with and like the concerns and talks that we have, and thankfully neither of you have been like problem children, as you know, as that, or people of interest. But man, do you know how much of a mind fuck it is to have to then possibly talk to two people who are either married or in a relationship, and then have to kind of like walk around the idea and concept of like roleplay punishments? That's a mind fuck by itself. To like, how do you bring that up? To the, you know, do they understand like the brevity of this, like the ordeal that's about to take place, and
Yeah.
that it's not ill will or anything like that? So I think outside looking in, I think you're all doing a fantastic job. I think the separation is really good. I don't have necessarily the place to say, but I would personally recommend what I would do, or basically y'all just keep doing what you're doing. But like as a kind of side note, I think it is good and healthy to have that set boundary, or at least if you have your own understanding, set persona of like, you guys know how to separate yourselves to a degree, you know, like this is Axiom 3 Napo Vanek, and this is Axiom 2 Keeper, and like that's what it is. And then obviously as soon as the op or the training is over and the meetings are done, you're just Keeper and Nap again, you know. And I think having that kind of healthy switch in between that role-playing persona definitely is a big game changer. I know for me personally, not in the aspect of relationships, but in the aspect of like how I manage like my time and friendships, is like when I'm over here in the 13th, ideally I'm Captain Hideyoshi. I'm doing my job. I'm helping with admin. I'm leading meetings, discussions, whatever, facilitating punishments. And then if I'm like in the Misfits or the Bone Zone, anywhere that isn't the 13th or Milsim related, I'm just Lotus or Yoshi, depending on who you are, and I'm just there chilling out, being a fucking goober, doing all the ooga boogas. So having that, again, that overall understanding of like that separation between your personalities or areas of interest that you hold, I think it's healthy, and I think it's good just to kind of dive in and out at certain points in the unit. Overall, I think you both have done a fantastic job, and I also want to give a big shout out to Nap for joining us tonight on the 17th episode. Yeah, 17th episode. Granted, we missed 3 of them, but no, 2 of them, but here we are. Thank you, Nap, for coming out tonight. It was awesome. A pleasure to have you on this podcast. Did you have any final remarks? Yeah, did you have any final remarks or questions or anything that you wanted to ask anybody here, or you pretty much all set?
So I think like final remarks for me is just if anyone notices anything that I'm doing, like I love improvement. So if there's anything that could be corrected, if there's ever anything that you're like, hey, this is going great, but what if also this? And that's from, command staff, that's from senior NCOs, that's also from any members of the unit who see anything. Feel free to hit me up. I love constructive criticism. It's one of my favorite things in my personal life and professional life, in my fake, real professional life at home in sim games, whatever that is. But yeah, I love constructive criticism. Feel free to hit me up with it anytime. Let me know it's going to be constructive criticism. Don't just like, hey, pop in my inbox and be like, hey, this.
Hey, shit ass.
Yeah, a little bit of a heads up, ideally, if we're not in a conversation about it.
Keeper, I'm going to beat you. Oh my god.
But, my door's always open, and, I'm glad to be here. It's been a fun time. And I look forward to getting to know you guys better within your roles and finding out more and, becoming a better NCO in the unit.
Nap, you never gave me my neck collar after the metal concert last week.
You didn't show up to the infirmary.
Fuck.
Damn.
We don't do house calls.
Shit.
I need Keeper to say.
Unfortunately, Cap did not allow that in medical requisitions. So.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm not S4 head. Anyway, yeah, Keeper, say what you fucking just messaged me out loud, you goob.
Going back to regarding boundaries inside and outside the unit, I messaged Cap and Nap, and I was like, hey, look, it's the separation of church and state.
But the church and state are just the 2 wolves inside me fighting for dominance.
All right,
and one
you're
is...
done.
Okay, all right.
You're done. Get her out of here.
That's my final remark. Thank you.
Yeah, let's spin the wheel.
Good
Let's
night.
end it. Let's end it on spinning the wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, bring your eyes over to the YouTube as we begin to spin that
I'm also
wheel.
streaming it in the chat.
Oh yeah, actually, if you're in the Discord call, look at Dubs. His beans.
Yeah.
Is this updated? Is it up to date?
It updated as of today.
You sure?
Like
Oh, very
30 minutes before podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Alpaca's on there.
Yeah, retired guys are on
He's
there.
retired. Okay.
He's retired.
That's
All
right.
right. Are we
I'm
all
tired
ready
too.
to spin that wheel?
All right,
Sorry.
Nap. Let's get a guess.
Hold on. Oh, my phone's about to die. I'm gonna say
40 donuts not on the wheel. Who are you?
You can take Stag off because he's not in the Discord anymore.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I'm trying to read the wheel. I'm gonna say banana.
Oh boy, banana. Okay. I need to know who 40 donut is.
Can we just have a list of all the food?
All of
The food names?
Bandit, you're not on the
Yeah.
list because you've already been on the show.
I'd be very curious to see that.
You fucking monkey. Hermes 1. Alright, so Nap says banana. Keeper.
No, I think it would be really interesting to have. I think it'd be really interesting to have Brecker on here, just because I know he's done a lot and he can't go through the NCO pipeline right now, but he's expressed a little bit of interest in it. I think it'd be really interesting to have Brecker on here.
Alright, Brecker. Okay. Cyber has departed. Soccer.
Still holding strong on Veebs.
Still holding strong on Veebs. Continuing in the same vein of food, Lemon.
Ayo.
Ooh.
Oh, they're right next to each other too, so we're head dead.
Oh, hell yeah.
Also, while this is gonna spin, a quick shout out to the Corbin. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys, you're great.
Alright, Cat.
Yeah, the
They're
Corbin
all
suck.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call on two. Use my cat powers. I'm gonna say two names, okay? I'm gonna say Cannabis, first ground warrant officer of the unit, right?
Is he off the rig?
He will be standby.
Well, he'll be off the
I don't-
rig by
I don't
next
know.
week.
I don't know.
Okay, very good.
I need you to stand by because I'm literally about to look at it.
Stand by to stand by.
It should be this week, so
Alright.
we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, so it's either I am choosing either Cannabis or Joe.
Cannabis or Joe? Okay, alright, here we go. Spin that wheel.
You gotta make the wheel spin like a minute long.
Wheel. Oh. Fortune. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
Frost!
one of our new guys.
Ooh.
Oh shit! Weird
Yeah,
Frost.
one of the guys who
Pickles.
was supposed to come to Gorman.
Yeah, Frost, come here.
Damn. Frost said, "Cormer's smelly.
Nah, he's gonna go be an RO with Yogi.
Too much applesauce vinegar."
What?
Apple cider vinegar.
Vinegar?
No, applesauce. I said it right.
Does anyone else
Okay.
smell burnt toast?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Like burnt balls. All right, let's get that backup
Yeah.
spin. Let's go. Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta make the
Hey,
post.
Make the goddamn post, Johnny.
I thought you said you had to make toast for a second, and I was like, oh, we're actually making
I was
toast.
just being facetious, yeah.
Oh, you can't use that word here.
Alright, let's do it again.
I was being dumb.
Shut up, facetious.
Uh-oh. It's Joe.
Let's
Oh,
go.
God.
My pick. Finally.
Very good, very good.
All right. Dubs at those motherfuckers. Okay. And with that being said, that officially closes out the night of tonight's 17th episode of the 13th MEU podcast, The Briefing Room. I'm Captain Hideyoshi, one of your hosts. Again, Nap, thank you for coming out tonight. Keeper, awesome sauce. Soccer, demoted. Dubs, demoted times
Demoted.
100.
Ace is saying cannabis is home as of today.
Oh,
Oh,
guess
nice.
it's time to beat him with a stick. A
Hell
burn.
yeah, alright.
All right. And with that being said, y'all have a lovely night. Rock, kill, eat babies.
Rock, kill, eat babies, get